Hey everyone, my name is Lisa. Welcome to King Worldwide. Tonight we're going to be covering a topic that you hear a lot of things about. I'm going to start with this by saying this is not a bash session. This is a insightful information session, and more than likely I won't be answering any comments in lieu that I don't want to have any distraction. I want to stay on what the Lord has me to say. This will be going on YouTube, and the Lord has had me pray about this for a couple of weeks. I have some people that I love very dearly who have shared with me some stories about how they've grown up with alcoholic father who sexually molested a friend of mine. And my heart goes out to these people. And this is no different than anyone that's dealing with gluttony or alcohol. The reason why the Lord said I can talk about this is because He's been talking about it with me for a couple of weeks, and He said the reason why I can talk about this, I might not know exactly what people feel in terms of desires and things. However, I'm very familiar with what it feels like to be controlled by an influence or thoughts that will not stop. No matter what you do, they don't stop. Even as a Christian, that is what I dealt with as a little girl, starting at age 12. And I did not know. We did not know. My family, I didn't even know any of this. So this is not talking about people or past or anything like that. This is discussing the root to see if it will help anybody out there. I'm going to have a disclaimer that I am not a medical doctor or a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I've had enough training and enough counseling myself to be certified, but the Lord told me not to because that He wanted to be in control of these topics so people can be set free. I'll be transparent. This wasn't something that I really wanted to do, but I will obey God at all costs. And He asked me if I would. And then He told me that there are people out there that all they hear from so many Christians are that it's wrong, it's bad, and all this. And then they have the other side who are accepting. He said, who is going to tell them, Lisa, the root of everything and let them decide? I said, I will. So this is not about telling anybody what to do or not do, or tell anybody who's bad or good or what the Word says. We can all read the Word. This is to explain and just ask if anyone who's in that would be categorized as transgender or homosexual in this category tonight, or even if you're a workaholic, an alcoholic, a gluttony, you're hooked on pornography, if you can just listen and see if there's anything that resonates within you and that you can answer these questions for yourself. And if anyone needs any help, they can go to our website, kingworldwide.com. The first thing the Lord told me, He freed me from this bondage. And if I could explain it better, I would. I'll do the best I can. It was a thought at age 12 that when I was in school, this is the best I can remember. I remember looking at other girls. This is not about transgender or homosexuality, but this is about an influence that was dark and thick and pressure. So much pressure. There was so much pressure. These thoughts, if you can think of a machine gun, these thoughts of you're not like them, you're not good enough, you don't look like that, You're not skinny. You're fat. You're not this. You're not that. You're not that. Oh, you're good at that, but you're not at that. These thoughts, I didn't know where they came from. I thought they were mine. These thoughts of not knowing who I am, and really more importantly, I thought I was the greatest thing until like age 12. And I didn't know this. I'm looking back. These thoughts started as, you don't wear jeans like that. You don't look like that. You don't wear the size that they do. You must not be good. 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 You're not worth anything. And the area for me became food, because I was reaching puberty. I went to my pediatrician. My mom was checking out. Went back and basically was looking at his chart. I'm like, so I don't gain weight with puberty, do I just eat less and run more? And he said, yeah, that'd be great. I took that in my little mind as if that were God, and I made it a stronghold, and that gave the enemy more ammunition to bombard my mind with thoughts like a machine gun. I didn't know that these thoughts of unworthiness, not knowing who I am, why do I feel this way, were not normal, and they are not healthy, and they're not from God. I did not know that my identity was being attacked. I did not know that until age 42. Yes, God gave me the victory. But the reason why I'm saying all this is because when thoughts that are not checked continue to repeat and repeat, some dispositions are manifest more. That's something you can learn about chemical imbalances and balancing things. But regardless, thoughts that are not checked can repeat, like a record player or a broken record actually just goes zzz. It's the same thing over and over again, and not knowing to check it and stop it, it becomes what you believe about yourself. So, and then I was distracted to think sweets or certain food made me feel better. Well, there was a psychological or a physiological high on sugar, but I associated with release from those thoughts when I ate. So in order to stop those thoughts, I ate. So the next thing you know, I'm obese, 250 pounds. I'm just going to truncate the story. And I did not understand why I couldn't stop eating. And I didn't understand why I had to keep doing this behavior, these thoughts. And the only time the thoughts stopped were when I ate something. And that became the new norm for me. The reason why I say this is because we all are there's a reason behind this. We all are spirit beings. We have a mind, we have a soul, and we have a body. So I like to break it down that we are spirit beings and we're flesh, and then we have flesh. The flesh is the soul and the body. Let's just forget the body. Let's just say the flesh is the soul. In the soul is mind, will, emotions, desires, imaginations, memories, feelings, so many feelings. Do you see? The mind is where this junk went on, and it was unchecked because I didn't know to check it. No one thinks that when someone's a little kid that they're having these bombarding thoughts. I didn't even know that no one else was having it. I thought, how does everybody do this? How do they go to school and have these thoughts? It doesn't matter what the thought is. It doesn't matter if it's attraction to a man when you're a man. It doesn't matter if you think you're a woman and you were born a man. These thoughts of the opposite or what are not true bombard. It was so much. I didn't know how to stop it. I would eat to stop it. And then I would starve to stop it. And I did get relief. But then, after doing that as many times as I could possibly do it, it got deeper and darker in my mind. It was way past how I look on the outside. And people that are dealing with transgender and homosexuality, if you try to talk to them, most likely, and if you're one of those listening, that you don't want to hear someone say, don't think like that. It's already too late. Not too late to fix, but it's if you're even watching this, you're probably already stuck in a routine. Trying to tell you that you don't have to believe the lie. And I'm not telling you to change. I'm trying to tell you that you were created by God and you were his idea. And if you want to know all the scriptures that back that, I'll give them to you. But right now, you need to know that you're not some amoeba transforming into something else. He picked you. He chose you. He formed you. And the way he formed you is the way he made you. And if you don't like it or you don't feel good in it, it's not God and it's not you. It's the liar and it's the associations around you or people who are uneducated about this are pushing that on you. Oh, you decide. You wouldn't let a 7-year-old decide what to do with a gun. You wouldn't approve of a 5-year-old robbing a bank. You wouldn't approve of a 10-year-old eating 50 hot dogs in 5 minutes. So don't approve of your child wanting to be a girl when they're a boy. There is a reason we are made the way we are. We're not going to deny these feelings. What I'm trying to tell you, the feelings that are not stopped, or if you are sexually abused as a child, look at Joyce Meyer. It changes everything. So I'm not denying, well, you don't know what it's like. No, I don't. But you don't know what it's like to do what I did. Every day was harassment. And it was because with you, if you're a transgender or homosexual, most likely, maybe, they can't tell that that's what's going on with you. Every day, everybody could see that I was fat. And to me, it's not about size. But to me, that meant failure. That meant loser. So I know what it feels like. God delivered me. And he can deliver anyone. But it takes an understanding of what's the truth and who's going to help me. I'll help anybody who is willing to listen and work with me. But that's not the point. The point is to let everybody know it starts with thoughts and feelings. And there's some medication you can get to help slow the thoughts, but it's still an inside job. And it's still a decision to recognize thoughts come from the curse or the blessing. If it's pressure, it's not God. If it's gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta eat this, gotta do this, gotta have this guy, I gotta have this girl, I gotta do this, it's not God. God will wait. He's peaceful. Everybody I've talked to about this situation, about homosexuality or transgender, over the years I've asked a lot of questions because I've noticed a lot of similarities with my own life and the thoughts in the beginning. And every single one of them, it was below the age of 18. Thoughts started. Every single one of them, it started with thoughts, feelings, or images. And every single one of them, person had no clue that they didn't have to have that thought. And a lot of times there's a liar, and he tries to pressure you to think this way. And if you don't think this way, you're not going to get relief. Everybody wants relief. Everybody wants peace. What I'm trying to say is that I had zero peace at 250 pounds. I had zero peace eating to satisfy, to stop the thoughts. So it was like, it was the worst nightmare. It was over and over and over and over, and then never having peace. Well, then, if you're in a same-sex relationship and you might think you have peace, but if you would stop long enough and ask yourself, what is it that I want? if you really will stop, you will see, I want truth. I want identity. I want to know who I am. And I want the thoughts to stop. Well, that is the truth. And that is what matters. That is what, if you can just stop and acknowledge, I just want the truth, then you can feel better. You can come to the place where you will be peaceful 24/7, 7 days a week. And no matter what thoughts come up, you know how to handle them. And you might say, well, I like these thoughts. I want to stay this way. You're lying to yourself because, and I said that to you because it was the same with me. You're lying to yourself because I thought, just let me be fat. Just let me eat. Well, I did that. I moved all the way across the country. After I almost killed myself, I had to start fresh. All the way across the country so that I could decide I'm just going to be fat. And I didn't like it. I still was miserable. It might be a distraction for a season. But if you are true and honest and self-aware with yourself, there is something churning inside. You can stuff it down as long as you want. I personally want the best for you. I'm not trying to tell you to change. I'm trying to tell you, be honest with yourself. Because if you don't, it's going to keep churning and it will kill you. It almost killed me. It's a very serious thing. And people who cut people down are so mean. So mean. So without a heart. Do you think people choose to be obese where they can't stop eating and stop thinking? No! Do you think people choose a certain lifestyle because they think it feels better? Have a heart. Stop judging. We're all to love one another. But let me just say one thing. If a kid robs a bank and shoots people, I'm not going to say, good job. That's wrong. I'm not going to say doing something different than what God created you to do is right. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to love you through it. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time with you because you're thinking a different way. And I was thinking a different way. So the thing is, I want you to know there is options. You don't just have to follow the craze. Rick Renner has a book that's so good, and it's talking about being aware of what's going on. And just love does not mean acceptance and tolerating. Love means doing the right thing in a loving manner. That doesn't mean everybody come on over here, but I'll tell you, I have some really good friends who think differently, and I would run in front of a bullet for them. First of all, I would cast it out, so I wouldn't have to be in front of a bullet. But I still love them. So if we're judging and we're trying to say that's not a right lifestyle, look how much you are working. Look how much you're striving for a bigger paycheck. I could go on that topic all day. It's the same thing. It's allowing the mind to control, be superseded over how God created us. So the thing I wanted to say, we've already talked about you. God created you, and your mind, will, and emotions is where it's all at. And don't blow it off, because if you blow it off, you're not taking responsibility. If you're hearing this message, you're hearing that it all starts with the thought. And back to that one person I spoke with a couple weeks ago, she told me, she's a lesbian, and at 8 years old, she said, all I wanted to do is hold a girl's hand. I'm like, good, you're 8. And she took that as being her only truth rather than adjusting and asking, is that a God thought? Why do I feel this way? Feelings and thoughts and emotions and imaginations and desires and interests are all in the soulish realm. Who is God of the soulish realm? Satan. 2 Corinthians 4:4. He is the one, the spirits. Pressure. Who do you think pressured Adam and Eve to eat the apple? Please. It's pressure, and it's not of God. The point is, if you want freedom, this is how you do it. So all I would say, if you never contact me or the ministry or anything, and you want to know, well, what do? I don't want anyone to know. First of all, if you contacted me, no one would know. It's always confidential. I don't care if you're a famous movie star. No one would know. I am not doing this for any other reason except God said. And it would remain anonymous. Number two, no, I mean, it could be for anybody. But the thing is, if you could just be honest with yourself, God will help you. If you just say, Lord, help me, and say, well, try to remember what the first thought was that seemed contrary to your makeup, meaning you seem contrary to peace. You might have been born like Moses and put on a river. Okay, well, you might have remembered, who knows? It doesn't matter the answer. If you can remember the very first, I remember the first thought that made me feel like a loser. And the first interaction with that doctor at age 12. I'm 50. That's a lot of years. And I remember it still. I remember the best life ever up until then. Details of the great. And it's not anybody's fault but my own, but it's not my fault. It's not, we're not pointing fingers. It's if you want freedom, this is how it is. And it, more importantly, if you want to be self-aware and know that no matter what, if you have to hide anything, then there's something wrong. If you have to hide money, if you have to hide conversations, if you have to cross-dress, and you have to hide, and you want to do this, the answer is not to just become a female if you're a male. The answer is to get to the root. If you are having bombarding thoughts about, I think like a girl, or rather than just have some responsibility, think about what does God want. The best thing to do really is to ask God in your life and let him show you. Because it was only by my parents' prayers and the grace of God that I'm sitting here free and more peaceful and happy for 7 years so far. And it's not like I'm on a tightrope and that if I make a mistake, I'm off and there goes the peace. No. But the thing that God helped me see is that I did get to the bottom. I was frustrated. I wasn't going to kill myself at 42, but I really was like, just what do you want me to do? God, if you're God, what do you want me to do? And that started it. I gave up my own will. If we're trying to go to God and say, well, I got to be this, so help me get this, that's not really saying, God, how can you help me? He'll help you, but you have to be honest with yourself and with him. And I've been praying for you, all of you, weeks and weeks, and I will continue. If the Lord wants me to do another topic, this again, I will. Even though it's not comfortable, it doesn't matter. It's not about what people think. It's about the person who is suffering. I asked the Lord to always help me remember what it felt like. I didn't want to just be, I wanted not to have the pain anymore, but I wanted to be able to remember so that people who are dealing with that, they know that I'm not just blowing smoke or just holy roller. Yeah, I love God. I love God more than anything. He changed me. He changes all of us if we let him. But the difference is, I didn't just run. I ran for a lot of years, but I wasn't going to keep running. It comes a time where you got to take responsibility and get to the root. And this is the root, that God made you, God loves you, and he didn't make you to be confused or to be hiding or to be insecure. Your identity, everything with this topic is about identity and emotions and value. And if you value yourself, or if you don't, or if you weren't valued, listen, I used to think I had to wait on a husband before I felt valued. That was the situation. That was the problem. I kept thinking something else was going to fill me up. Don't kid yourself. If you're a man and you think a man is going to fill you up, a relationship, it's not. If you're a woman and you think a woman is going to fill you up and fill that void, it's not. I'm not saying that you can't. be friends with people and whatever. I'm not telling you what to do, but just don't kid yourself. Changing your sex different from what you were born, it's not going to make you feel better. You think it will, but it's not until you fix the inside. It's an inside job. Most people just want to fix the outer. That's plastic surgery. Do this. I'm not against those things. But if you don't recognize that the inner issue, you'll never be free. I kept thinking getting skinny would make me feel better. And I was 100 pounds for many years. And then I was 250 for many years. And then I was in between. It's not about the poundage. It's about what am I thinking about all the time. And if it's anything other than God, it's going to be frustrating. And it's going to pull. And you might have dips and highs of things feeling that, but the only thing that truly fills us up is our Creator, because we're created in His image, and He created us to fellowship with Him. And if you don't want to do that, that's fine. But there is a way to get out of that roller coaster or circle, a hamster wheel of hell. It really was. And I'm praying for you. Okay, thank you. I will see you on Monday with my dad's program, God's Way of Success.